In today's video, we're going to be talking about the announcement of a new Secret Lair deck called 20 Ways to Win. And while there's not a ton to look at yet, we do have a few new cards, and I have some thoughts about cards that might be included. So let's jump into the video. Welcome back to the video, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. If you do enjoy the video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and then click that bell icon if you want to be notified when new videos are posted. I do appreciate everybody who takes the time to watch the videos. If you're not subscribed, please consider doing so, because it'll really help the channel, and you'll get notified when new videos are posted. So if you're interested in deck profiles, news, and things like that, you'll certainly be able to get access to that quicker. Now, today I want to go ahead and just give a quick shout out to Commander's Herald. This was reported by various different sources. This is just where I happen to see it, so this is what I'm using. So definitely thank you for the article. But yes, so there was a teaser that was posted for the newest Secret Lair Commander deck, which is called 20 Ways to Win. It's been posted on a lot of different social media platforms, and obviously based on the name, it certainly seems like it's going to be based on alternate win conditions. Now, we don't know how many, but I'm guessing 20 based on the name. I don't know that there will be new cards in this. If I remember correctly, all of the Secret Lair decks up to this point have not had any new cards. They've all been reprints. A lot of them have different arts and stuff, but I guess there is always the possibility they could change it. I don't foresee that happening. I'm fairly certain everything in here will be new. Will be reprints rather versus new cards. The artwork, of course, as you can see, the Soul Ring is awesome. I don't know what I think they're supposed to be raccoons. I love the art on it regardless. I think it's really cool. And the Goshen Tie of Life's Origin is not only a cool reprint, but also some really unique art going on there. A very popular card, obviously, and definitely nice to see it getting another reprint, even if being in a Secret Lair deck as a premium version is typically not going to do a ton to make it cheaper. You know, being out there on the market, if people that want another variant of it will certainly be happy to have one. Now, Approach of the Second Sun was the biggest teaser that we saw. Obviously, one of the win conditions, in which we're assuming there will be 20. Amazing artwork here, and just this card is extremely unfun to play against, in my opinion, especially against like Azorius decks or decks where it's like countering everything until you can loop this with things like Thassa's Oracle. Plenty of other cards. Blue loves to do that, like endless looping. So it's a really interesting approach here. And obviously it's new. They do point out this will likely be $150, like the other ones were. There's a few, we're going to take a look at those in a minute here, the pre-existing ones and how they've done. But it's likely going to be a limited print run. I don't think it's going to be print to demand. The previous one, which was Raining Cats and Dogs, sold out extremely quickly. So it's likely that the same thing will happen here, even without seeing, you know, what the actual cards are going to be that are in here. But there are definitely some cards that have alternate win conditions that are also really good reprints. I have to say, I wonder how you make this work with 100 cards, because a lot of the different, you know, alternate win condition cards are typically cards you need to build around, with a few exceptions. So I'm curious as to how all of that's going to work. But we'll talk about that in a minute, what I think going to be the new cards. Let's look at the previous decks up to this point and see how they perform. So Heads I Win, Tails You Lose came out a couple of years ago now. And this one, I believe, was the first one. Yeah, it was. It was the first Secret Lair Commander deck. It had some really cool artworks, and it had the partner commanders there, which was awesome. This one has done pretty well for itself over time, although it has seen a dip, and as of late. But we'll go ahead and look at it as a round. We'll say $330 being kind of generous here. Not terrible considering it was $150. So obviously from a purchase standpoint, it's done well if you've just had it. But then there are also the logistical questions of like making it limited run. People who want a chance are going to be paying a crazy amount of money now to get this for a product that has doubled in price since its release. I've gone on record saying I'm not a fan of that. I don't think scalpers should necessarily be rewarded, but I've also accepted that that's kind of the nature of it. The only way to really change that would be for people not to buy, and I don't believe that enough people in this community, myself included sometimes, would actually put their money where their mouth is and not buy the products. And a few people might say, oh, I'm not going to buy it, whatever, but the majority of people are buying these, and very, very quickly. So if you're Wizards, yes, you've got some people that are rightly frustrated, but you really don't care if you're selling what you need to sell and it's going that quick. That's the only way to get a real change. So, you know, obviously just kind of old man shouts from post, if you will. But here we are. This is the second one. This is Angels. They're just like us, but cooler and with wings. This one's actually done extremely well for itself. It's up about $417 total. There's one, and then they're around $450, so we'll call it $450. This one had some extremely cool reprints. It also had Gisela, and I forget the name of the other one, but you flip them over and they make the Eldrazi, the Meld Eldrazi. But it also had cards like Sigarda's Aid. It had some pretty good reprints in the set itself, and it's just done really well. This actually did have a new card, quote unquote, which was Arden Angel, which was actually a Dreamcast card from the old Magic the Gathering Dreamcast game, and they printed it here. So it technically wasn't new to Magic as a game, but it was new to print. And then it also had Commander's Plate and stuff. So this had some good reprints, some good value, and overall was just really well designed. But look at the value. I mean, it's $150. It's worth $450 now. I mean, that's insane for a product like this. So again, you know, you kind of understand that that's just the way it goes with these Secret Lair decks, looking at trends. And then the last one, of course, Raining Cats and Dogs, the actual cheapest of the three, is around $284. It's almost a double up. We'll call it $290 just for the ease of, you know, looking at it. It's basically a double up since it came out, which is a little over a year and a half ago. And this one had Anointed Procession, with also Rin and Seri, and some really cool planes and stuff with good art. Obviously, the Soul Ring in it is done well. So I look at all this to say, the Secret Lair decks that have been released so far have all historically done really well. I don't expect this to be any different, unless the cards are so bad that nobody cares, but I don't see that's going to be the case. I mean, they're putting out a whole deck. Even if the win condition cards are a little bit clunky, then they may well put some good reprints in here that will make people want to go in on it, and it's just a unique product. So, you know, do I like the price point? No, not really, but I understand that it's different. You know, if they're charging $30 for 4 cards, here they're charging you $150 for, you know, 100 cards. Obviously, there's going to be some differences in price. It's just, you know, I'm not going to get into the logistics of how much they should charge for things versus what it's printed on, because that's a whole nother can of worms that I just am not looking to tackle with this video. So what could be included in here? Well, there are some cards that I think would definitely be decent. Aetherflux Reservoir is one. Not only would it be a solid reprint, but it's a card that can win you the game on its own pretty easily. You build around it, of course, which is one of those things where I'm thinking about a card like this, and I'm like, well, how am I gonna... You know, if I'm also playing all these other cards, I need to focus on casting spells. So what am I doing to make this work? But do they put it in there because it's rather generic? I'm not sure. Helix Pinnacle is another one. Pretty good card here. Doesn't have a lot of prints. You pay X, put X tower counters on it, and then if it has 100 or more at your upkeep, you win the game. So if you're playing a lot of mana and you're ramping, there's ways to make this get off quickly. It can obviously be a fun game-winning card, but at the same time, I don't know. I mean, it's, you know, it very well could be included there. It's been on the list. It doesn't have a lot of other prints. Maze's End, that's a great one. This is standard legal now, too. But then you'd also have to have all the gates in the deck. What I'm thinking, though, is because it is going to be 5 colors, perhaps they will put all the gates in there and they get away with a cheaper mana base, not giving away as much in the way of reprints, but also giving this, and you have the chances to play the gates. I don't know about that one. What I'm really hopeful for would be Thassa's Oracle. I mean, if they're not going to ban the card, they might as well make it more accessible. I know it was in Mystery Booster 2, but that barely counts. I mean, that was a product that was so hard to access that, you know, reprinting it again here, I don't think would be a huge deal. Obviously, this card is just extremely good in so many different decks, but it also can win the game on its own, so it fits into that, you know, 20 ways to win. So maybe you put an alternate art or a redone version of Thassa's Oracle. Like, there's a Secret Lair one already that not only has cool art, but is worth almost $100. Do they do something like that to get people's interest with it? I don't know. Door to Nothingness is another card that is an alternate win condition that needs 5 colors. It's not exactly great, but it's fun, and you could see where people would like to use it, and it definitely seems like a card that'll be included in there if it is, in fact, going in that direction. Chance Encounter is another one. If you win a coin flip, you put a luck counter on it, and then if you have 10 or more luck counters, you win the game. Some of the preview art they showed for Sol Ring has a coin, so is there some kind of coin flipping thing they're going to be including here? I mean, I'm kind of reaching for things based on what I know are some alternate win conditions, but assuming they're not putting new cards in here, it's definitely, you know, likely candidates. And the Angel of Destiny, flying, double strike. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage, you and that player gain that much life. And at the beginning of your end step, if you have at least 15 more total than your starting life total, each player that was attacked this turn loses that much life. Loses the game. Sorry. I'm reading my own thing and I can't read. So just a lot of cards that kind of fit within that are all alternate win conditions. This is all speculation, of course, because we don't have a lot of news to go for. But this is kind of the part where I then pass it to you and say, well, what cards do you guys think would A, be included in here? What would you like to see included in here? And does this feel to you on the surface like a deck you might be interested in going in on? Like to hear everybody's perspective on it. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.